And I'm here to start an open conversation about SEX. Perhaps you'd like to know about the female orgasm, or mutual masturbation.
Separate seating for boys and girls. Being made to stand aside for a skirt being a tad bit short. Being chided for wearing sleeveless. Doesn't all of this sound extremely familiar? That is because living in India, most of us have grown up being policed for the slightest hint of sexual expression. The attitude towards sex and sexuality has always been preventive and forever hushed and brushed under the carpet. So in this video, we try and understand the roadblocks to comprehensive sexuality education in India and destigmatize sex, sexuality and sexual expression. The stigma around anything sex. SEX. Remember coming across this word in the dictionary and giggling? It is a very common practice in our country to stigmatize anything sex. Be it sexual health, sexual expression or sexual education, for the majority of the people it is a big no-no. The word sex still carries a lot of shame and is looked at as an act of reproduction or as something that needs to be discussed in private. Results from a survey of young and unmarried women suggest that as low as 1% of women have received information on sexual and reproductive health and rights from their mothers, doctors, or government campaigns. Furthermore, 53% of these women feel unsure if the sexual health problems they faced were severe enough to visit a gynecologist. Any conversation around young women's sexuality is limited even when it endangers their health. Impact of the shame and stigma. The shame and stigma around sexual health that encompasses the lives of young adults from the very beginning results in them deprioritizing their sexual health needs, self-police themselves, and refrain from accessing much-needed services and resources. Sexuality, sexual health, and sexual expression is viewed and approached from a place of fear. The flip side of the shame and fear is humiliation and trauma. If an individual takes up space and agency to try and express their sexuality, all institutions and authorities label them as bad and unruly and question their morals. Women, non-binary people, or people with disabilities are taught to hide their bodies and be ashamed of it. Being policed for wearing certain clothes, or being made fun of and humiliated for finding someone attractive, or being snapped for fangirling over celebrities are all ways in which society tries to control the sexuality of young adults. Feelings of shame and stigma about one's body can result in a low self-esteem and negatively affect one's sexual interactions. Impact on sexual health. The National Family Health Survey 4 indicates that only 29% of young women between the ages of 15 to 19 and 40% of young women in the age group of 20 to 24 are allowed to visit health facilities alone. The data points to women having little to no agency when it comes to their bodies and sexual health. The survey highlights a problem of attitude within healthcare settings that often deny women from making decisions regarding their own sexual and reproductive health. Furthermore, for people with disabilities, their sexual health, sexual desires, and sexual expressions are brushed under the carpet or completely invisibilized. An even greater challenge that arises is that medical providers and frontline health workers are rarely trained to address the needs of people with disabilities. Need to focus on CAC. The current Indian demographic is youth-dominated, and thus issues pertaining to young adults need to be given priority. Comprehensive sexuality education is the need of the hour. Silence or stigma when dealing with sexuality can lead to misinformation and perpetuate myths. A lack of comprehensive sexuality education can interfere with the meaningful understanding of sexuality, consent, and violence. Deteriorating sexual health is an important healthcare concern and needs to be taken seriously. Dismantling the stigma around sex. The taboo attached to sex, sexuality, sexual health, and sexual expression, and the fear of social ostracism needs to be addressed. It is because the misinformation and stigma surrounding sex also affects the emotional and mental health of individuals. All stakeholders need to avoid propagating ideas of morality and take a more non-judgmental and practical attitude. The focus should be on enabling young people to make informed decisions and create a sex-positive ecosystem. If you like this video, make sure to like, comment and share. And don't forget to subscribe to Feminism in India for your dose of desi intersection feminist content.